Hello, I'm Niki Roach and I'm the president of SciWem. Season 1 of Let's Talk WEM has just finished and we have been amazed by the impact that this first series has had. We've had thousands of listeners join us from around the world, 20% of which outside of the UK, something we're really proud of as an international institution. And we're the 4th most listened to not-for-profit podcast in the UK. We got behind the PowerPoints and we heard real stories from leaders across the water and environment sector.
I think our big failure collectively was when I was at the Environment Agency. You know, we had the Water Framework Directive and River Basin Management Plans, which I had this wonderful idea we could make into the alternative planning system in this country. But somehow the whole wretched thing fell apart under its own weight. When I go to my grave, the Water Framework Directive will be engraved on my heart.
I guess you have to go back to 2007 when we had the devastating floods right the way across Hull and the East Riding area. It was absolutely tragic. The number of households, businesses that were impacted was just astronomical. The lasting effects of that is, really, really quite serious from a mental health point of view.
They gave us passionate, authentic insights into their experiences.
To me, it was impossible that I would ever bring up being gay at work or talk about my sexuality at all, because it was not a safe environment, both from physically, not feeling safe, but career-wise. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would not have thought it possible to have the career that I love and be honest with people at work about my sexuality.
Sadly, we saw quite a few people in East Anglia flooded over Christmas. And then shortly after that, along came Storm Christoph. And so we were then faced with a major national response with government, really challenging coronavirus. So not only were we concerned about protecting people in their homes from flooding, but also some of the wider things that were going on across government at the time.
And we championed new voices. We explored the breadth of insight and innovation that people across the world from throughout the water and environment sector are bringing to some of the knottiest challenges that we're facing at the moment.
From the Nepal team, our key attraction was really working with experts who have a certain expertise in another part of the world, but we could definitely learn and contextualize that in our context. So we become better, we are stronger, our role as a technical capacity becomes even more sharper.
And we had a laugh along the way too.
There are so many connections, almost feels like a silly thing to say because it's so obvious, but...
That's my theme. It's not that obvious. Let's not say that.
I mean, water is just there, isn't it? Everywhere in the environment, and everything you do in the environment impacts on water.
We're really grateful to our series sponsor, Yorkshire Water, for helping us get this podcast off the ground and bringing these conversations to you, amplifying the voices of our members and beyond on some of the most tricky topics that we face at the moment.
I think the bit that we need to kind of really step outside the box and look at is, at the moment, the primary responsibility for the entire water efficiency agenda is just put onto wholesale water companies. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
Legislation has come up to fruition across New Zealand on a thing called Te Mana Atawai. Put the health of the waterway first. Secondary concern is how the waterway can sustain life. And then thirdly, how you can yield some form of economical social value from the waterway.
We'll be back soon for season 2, sponsored by Thames Water. And I look forward to bringing you even more fantastic and insightful conversations with individuals across the world doing great things in the water and environment sector.
Children building up to early years examinations that they're going to be sitting in a school building that just isn't fit, not just for the current climate, but for the future climate. We could reach for the easy answer in the short term, which is to fit air conditioning, but that's not the long-term answer. This is not going to go away and it's not going to get any better.
If you want to be involved in this cutting-edge and impactful podcast, you can find out more through the link below. Thank you so much for your support of Season 1 of Let's Talk WEM. I really hope you've enjoyed the conversations as much as I've definitely enjoyed being part of them, and I can't wait to bring you Season 2 really soon.